life? Welcome back to AmyTV, where we come together to help you go after the life you want. One of the reasons why we cannot accumulate more confidence in our career is because we let that wretched imposter syndrome get in the way. It keeps us from getting those reps in. We try to convince ourselves that we can't do the job, so why bother even trying? Well, we have to put a stop to that. It is absolutely not the right thing to be saying to yourself as you are venturing into a better, stronger, more exciting career for yourself, no matter what that life looks like for you, whether you own your business or you're managing people. We have to break down the imposter syndrome first so that you can reach for the sky. One of the many things that you will be experiencing in your imposter syndrome journey is likely working with your team more collaboratively, which is why I'm teaming up with today's sponsor of this episode of AmyTV, and that is our friends at SHRM. You guys have heard of SHRM if you've been here at AmyTV before. It is the Society of Human Resource Management, and they help you create better workplaces where employers and employees thrive together. As the foremost expert, convener, and thought leader on issues impacting today's evolving workspaces, SHRM impacts the lives of more than 115 million workers and families globally, with more than 300,000 HR and business executive members in 165 countries. SHRM has helped me tremendously in my ongoing fight with imposter syndrome as I, as an entrepreneur, continue to grow my team. With the use of their People Manager Qualification virtual training program, I've been able to increase my confidence and gain the skills needed to lead a high-performing team. This has been monumental for me, not just in growing my business, but improving workplace culture, especially these days when workplace culture looks so different. The first two episodes of the actual PMQ curriculum are great. They take you through the different shifts in mindset that need to occur when going from an individual contributor to a people manager. It also teaches you how to effectively communicate with your team, how to deliver feedback, how to understand business goals you may be responsible for with your new position, how to prioritize your time, you know we love that, and be self-aware of the vibes you're giving to others. All of these tools are extremely helpful when overcoming imposter syndrome in the workplace. Find out more details of how SHRM can help lead your team to success by checking out the link in the description below. Thanks again to SHRM for sponsoring this episode of AmyTV.
Woke up early just to see the sun.
First, we need to build your case. You're innocent until proven imposter. We already know that you are far beyond the possibility of somebody that cannot show up for this job. You are the person for this job. You just need to prove it to yourself. One of the best things that you can do is write it down, whether it's just something small that you did today to educate yourself or something big that you've accomplished that you don't want to let yourself forget. It can be very easy to lose track of these things, to just stay on the churn and keep going, never really recover from imposter syndrome, but then easily forget all of the reasons why you are not an imposter at all. So remember the power of writing something down. Often when we take something out of our minds and put it into real life, pen to paper, it is all we need to be able to feel like it is real. My second tip is to cancel comparison culture. Not a fan of cancel culture, but I am a fan of canceling comparison. It is a no-win trap. I know you're thinking of somebody that you've looked at recently, or another brand that you thought, oh, if only I was that, if only I achieved this, then I wouldn't be an imposter. I would totally be the right person, or I'd totally be the right one to go to in this situation. It is easy to then take yourself down a notch by looking at someone else's work. But what is that really doing for you? You're constantly going to be behind the ball because you are convincing yourself that you are. You are allowing other outside sources to give you a decision on how valid you are, how good you are, how much of an imposter that you could be. If you don't want to be an imposter, stop measuring yourself against others who would make you feel that way. And it could be that they are quite motivating and they are exactly the right people you could be surrounding yourself with and exactly what you need to see to move the needle in your life. But keep in mind that just because they are achieving things, that they are getting things done, it doesn't mean that you can't. It doesn't mean that you're too far behind to be able to. And you've got to cancel this comparison lifestyle. When you're constantly scrolling and you're constantly looking out and you're constantly constantly looking at what everyone else is doing. That is stressful. That is not doing anything. You are not having good stress by executing on the moments that are actually going to make a difference for you. You are allowing outside circumstances to get you down. This can do nothing good for you. I have even found there are moments that some of the most motivating people or instances or circumstances that I have seen can also just get me at a moment where I'm not feeling my most motivated, can get me at a moment where I'm not feeling my best self, and I start to resent them. It doesn't mean they're gone forever. I either get rid of social media at that moment or unfollow those people for the time being, and I can always come back because I have the decision of who I spend my time with. So cancel comparison, and that will quickly make you realize how valid you are and how you're not an imposter at all. And speaking of that, here's number 3, appoint your own personal board of directors. I'm a huge proponent for this because oftentimes we find ourselves in situations, especially when we're going after the life that we want, and it's a hard road, that we don't have the support system that we need. We need to be able to say that we have certain people in our lives that are going to help us out, whether they are IRL or know us personally or don't. Maybe they're just digital influences, people who make us feel empowered, make us feel educated, make us feel better when we are around them. So I will have different people that I keep in my life. Somebody I go to for business, somebody I go to for love, somebody I go to for venting, somebody I go to for anything you can think of. I like to give those people in my life a role, a place where I can say, I know I can rely on you for this thing. I'm not going to expect the world of you. I'm going to just go to you for this one thing because I know you always deliver for it. Whether that person is having a real conversation with me or I'm saying it to my favorite YouTube channel or I'm saying it to my favorite podcast. Appoint your personal board of directors because when you do that, you instantly have a better relationship with everyone else in your life because you're not looking to them to be good at what they are not good at. Like going to somebody who wants to protect you from all bad things in the world and then trying to talk to them about your crazy dreams and the life you want and this difficult path you want to go down does not compute. You need someone who gets it so you can have that conversation with them and let the person who wants to protect you hear what's good that's going on, hear what you're doing to take the right steps in your life, and you go to them for the other things that really they're the best at. People cannot be all things for us, but we can choose what we need and find the right people for us. If you don't want to be an imposter, then no problem. Just don't be. Be an expert. Immerse yourself in your craft. Become a master. There is literally no better way to get out of your mind, get out of the headspace that you're an imposter, than to get your headspace in a place where you are mastering something. You don't even have time to think there's a possibility that you're going to get found out if you're so busy learning and growing and developing and planning and executing. This is why I wanted to bring up SHRM's PMQ program to you today, because they really do give you a place where you can continue to grow and you know that you're doing your very best to lead your teams and lead those around you in your best way possible. You don't have to be the best leader of all time. You just always have to be self-aware enough to continue to grow. If you always do that, if you are always telling yourself, I can learn every day from every circumstance. I can continue to master my craft. I can continue to get better. I can continue to not stay comfortable. Then you will easily become an expert before you even realize that you can give yourself such a crazy title. And you certainly won't be giving yourself the title of imposter. My last tip, and I know this is going to be a little bit of a twist on a motivational video, but I'd like you to imagine the worst case scenario. Just let your mind go there. Just really focus on it. Let yourself completely go to that place. What is the worst thing that could happen? Now take a step back from it and ask yourself, what is the actual likelihood of that happening? If that is the worst case, like the worst case scenario, and it is possible that it could happen, how likely is it? What are all the terrible mistakes in a row, not learning from oneself, that would have to happen for that to be the case? Just let yourself think it, let yourself go there, because that is usually, especially for somebody like me in a scarcity mindset recovery mode, I don't want that to happen, right? So I'm gonna do everything in my power to make sure that it doesn't. I will observe it, I will notice it, but I'm not gonna think about it daily. I'm gonna know it exists, and I'm gonna do everything in my power to keep it from existing. What I know for sure is that the worst case scenario about your imposter syndrome is directly linked to feelings of fear, to feelings that are keeping you from taking a step forward. And if we just notice that and say, okay, feelings, see ya, feel ya, we're just gonna have to compartmentalize that for now and give something better a shot. I know you exist. I see you existing over there, but I'm choosing something else today. Recognize what is possible when you do that. What's so sad is if you think about all of the crazy things you've been trying to say about yourself and the things that you think will go wrong because you can't possibly get it right. If you were to try to gather all of those thoughts about another person and say it to their face, how do you think that would go down? Probably not great. And you probably wouldn't do that because even if you're thinking it, we don't usually put other people under the same scrutiny that we do to ourselves. So I challenge you to look at yourself as an ambitious person that is ready to go places, and then you sit them down and tell them, hey, use an imposter, honey. Don't do it. Don't do it to yourself. You wouldn't do it to others. Therefore, give yourself that same great treatment so that you will not see that worst case scenario come true and that conversation will not happen from whatever person would actually have that conversation with you that you imagined in your worst case scenario. Am I right? I know, I guessed it right. I'm really good at these things. Subjecting yourself to this poor of treatment is absolutely not the way to motivate yourself on a consistent basis to go after the life you want. And I know that motivation is this big arbitrary factor. So stop slowing it down when it is so difficult to achieve already. Question of the day: which one of these tips is going to help you take the first step toward beating imposter syndrome in your career? Share that in the comments down below. And find out more details about SHRM's PMQ virtual training program that's going to help you elevate your career as well. The details are in the description down below. That's all for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it as always. Remember, subscribe for good vibes, kiss the ones you love, and go after the life you want. Cheers. Shout out to Khaleesi for waiting to bark until the end of the episode. Yeah.
Okay, bye.